Hello and welcome everyone. In today's video, we'll discuss about the CAPM certification. I'm pretty sure most of you have seen that on my LinkedIn profile, and I keep getting a lot of messages around, people asking me what exactly CAPM is. So in this video, I have Manan along with me, who has also recently passed his CAPM exam. And over the next 10 to 15 minutes, we'll break down some of the concepts that we have learned, some of the outcomes, and we'll also kind of give you an understanding if you should also be opting for the certification. Without further ado, I would like Manan to introduce himself and we'll get started with the video.
So hi guys and hi Prateek, thank you for a warm welcome. So myself Manan guys, and I have recently cleared my CAPM certification, and I am currently occupied with Amar Ujala, like it's a news media publication agency where I'm currently heading a project that's related to an overall community development, like one of India's very new type of community, and it's a great time to be here. Like I feel really good to be in conversation with Prateek because we have been in touch since last few months, and Prateek has been kind of a guiding mentor to me for clearing this certification exam as well.
Man, excited for the video. So, Manan, let's also break down a few concepts. In fact, even before we proceed, right? Can you give
Yeah.
everyone a quick background of what you're doing currently? Are you working? Are you studying?
Well, it's a mix up of everything for me. Like I am currently a final year student. I'm pursuing my engineering, and to talk about my professional journey, since last 2 years, I've been into moreover like it would be kind of fascinating for many. Like I hail from an engineering background, but my actual niche depends upon marketing, growth marketing, community management, and events everywhere. Like I have been part of some of world's biggest events organizing committee, and along with that, I have been interning in many companies that were related to edtech, and there was some quite astonishing results, and that's when I felt like this is the thing that I should like. It's even though I'm from engineering, but this is something that I find love and passion towards, that yes, I can do this whole day and not get bored. And to talk about right now, I am currently working as a consultant in Amar Ujala web. Basically we it's a newspaper publishing agency and as well as a online agency where we kind of publish, like we are part of history since 1947. Like Amar Ujala is one of the oldest newspaper publishing agency, and right now I'm in the web department of it, and there we are working on a very new kind of community that is basically about creators community specifically for youth. No more, nothing than that. So what we was kind of facing a problem, and many people are, is that there are creators everywhere, but no one knows how to go, how to start, how to be a proper creator. So they kind of sometimes get into some cringe content rather than an actual content they should be posting. So recently I flagged off that project and we are working upon it. We have been hiring content creators on all levels recently. So hopefully we'll be having a glimpse of it around the whole India when it will be boosting up.
Oh, that's quite an introduction, man. Thanks a lot for that. So we at least have a couple of things in common. We are
Yeah.
both engineering graduates, and we both have an inclination towards events marketing.
Yeah.
In fact, for the last more than 6 years, I have been an events marketer. Rather, I would say a product marketer who had events as one of the main verticals for all the GTM initiatives. So let us break down and talk about what exactly CAPM is. Right? Everyone understands that CAPM is certified associate in project management.
Project management. Like I would just define CAPM as a very basic gateway or a very initial gateway for all the budding project managers like me. Like when I was into properly into marketing at that point of time, I actually used to wonder like where to go off properly. Like I have been going to this company, I have been interning here, but there's not a goal that can be focused upon. Like yes, I want to be called upon this, I just don't want to be called a marketer. So that's where I started exploring certain certifications that are globally recognized, and just that way I came into project management institute, and there I came to know that this is the only institute that's working upon project management, and it has a community of its own. When I came to know it has a community of its own, that was the point I was most interested into, like what it is all about. And then I got into it, I became a member, and then I surfaced through its website. There I found certified associate in project management. And just if I explain it in one line, it is something that anyone who wants to start their journey in project management field or even gain some experience theoretically, practically. So this is the course that is your very first step to get into it and to start learning things.
In fact, this is a very good introduction, and I will also share a few tidbits on what CAPM meant to me and how I stumbled upon it. So back in 2017 or 2018, rather, when I worked with my previous organization, Ramco Systems, that's where I came across the whole, certifications on project management. We had like consultants who worked full time on implementing these very, very large projects for our end customers, right, to implement software. So in the world of ERP implementation, project management plays a very key role in budgeting things, planning things from a very long term, right? Because most of these projects take, let's say, from a few months to even a few years to implement. So that's where I stumbled upon the PMP certification, which is very, very recognized across the globe. And one level below PMP is CAPM. And the only difference between the two is the amount of work experience that you have as individuals, because PMP requires, I think, somewhere around 7 to 10 years of work experience to even qualify for that exam. And I think more or less the portion is the same. The curriculum that we study, right, for both CAPM and PMP, we basically refer to that Bible, right, which is called PMBOK,
Yeah,
the
PMBOK
project management
Yeah.
body of
Yeah,
knowledge.
basically, like to know what PMP is, one should know what CAPM is. Like CAPM is like the basics of all the things a project manager should know, and PMP is like brushing upon those skills.
Slightly a little more advanced
Yeah.
version of the CAPM. Yeah, so that's where I stumbled upon CAPM, and for me, it was more so from a knowledge point of view. I was definitely curious to understand what it exactly entails, and I also wanted to sort of explore myself, right, and see where it takes me. Because when I went through the curriculum of CAPM, I understood that there are multiple topics which we will also discuss in the next few minutes on stakeholder management, finance management, and many more topics, right? So that's where,
Communication, procurement,
yeah,
like yeah, there are tons of it.
exactly, and that's where my curiosity stemmed from it, and I wanted to understand which aspect of project management am I good at, and more so like towards the end, after you finish the certification, it also gives you like a individual score on each of these modules, and that helps you understand where
A
there is
detailed analysis, basically, like for every topic there's a space. It will tell that these much amount of questions from this topic, and out of them you have cleared only these questions. This is the place where you need some qualification or some more like work to do. So it's like a very detailed analysis report that even if a person is appearing for the test, he or she knows that how it actually works, like what all different topics are being covered even into subdomains of that.
Exactly. So let's talk about our experience of taking the test itself. Now that we have established what CAPM is and why we actually took the course. In my case, it was more of self exploration and understanding where my strengths lie. Let's talk about our experience of taking the test, preparing for it. So how did it start for you? You want to go first?
Well, yeah, definitely. So, like in the past month, I cleared my CAPM certification on 24th of July. Well, I would not say 24th of July, it was 25th of July, and the time was 2:09 a.m. So, I scheduled my time at night because I wanted proper, like, I didn't want a single thing to disturb me out so that I can give it properly. Because what I came to know was the people who would be proctoring me are quite strict, and you have to like there's not even 1% chance that you'll even cheat in. So I kind of started well, and before that, like in June, I came to know about CAPM, and I was so curious at that time that I have to prepare for it, how to go for it. So like after signing up for PMI membership, I found out quite a good course that was all about CAPM and its introduction and how it will definitely help me to clear my exam. So it also had a certain amount, so I paid that. I started doing that course, and post that, like as soon as I completed my first module, it was something that was generating more curiosity that let's just hop on to second one, let's just not wait for one more day. Like I used to think one module one day and then for the revisions, but I used to like when I cleared my first module, I was at the end of the day on fourth module itself. So it was quite a good catch up for me, and certainly in like a month I cleared like all the modules along with the quizzes that they had, and there was a exam simulation as well. Like I can only be qualified for that course once I clear that exam. So it even took me 3 to 4 attempts to like regularly sit for 3 hours again, 3 hours again, and then finish it up. So it was like 12 hours I was on my laptop just giving out one single test which I could not clear, and that was so demotivating for me at that time. I just did nothing. I closed my laptop, I hop onto my notes which I prepared, and I was like, "Ki, let's just do it. Let's just not wait. Let's just schedule the exam, give it up, and let's see how well I can do. And even if I won't do well, it gives us 3 attempts to qualify. It's not like if you have registered for the exam once, you have scheduled it once. Even if you don't clear it, you will be having 2 more attempts, like a total 3 attempts to clear it out. And there's a very strict policy on rescheduling the exam as well. That when I came to know, it was like kind of horrifying. Like I can't even reschedule my exam before one day, like else I have to pay the whole fees again. That was the point. So it was quite horrifying. Also, like, I have to clear it out. I have to give it out. So I scheduled the day when I cleared my course at the night itself. So I gave the exam, and when I started up my laptop on the, like I was giving it at my place on PSNU, which is the official partner. So I opened their app. I started did all the formalities, and then I suddenly heard an English accent, like an American accent voice was talking to me. I was quite wondering that who's this guy? I can't even see him and all those things. And he was just saying that show me your room. Like every inch of my room was seen by them on camera. After that, when he was satisfied, then he allowed my exam to proceed further. And then again, there were 2 proctorers who were continuously proctoring me. Even if my eyes were up and down there, here and there, they used to pinpoint like, where are you looking? Show us your surroundings. And the questions, when they started coming up, it was like, I know it, I know it. Like I was so happy at that point of time that I scheduled it at a very right time. I have no disturbance. They would not be any kind of disturbance. And I have that knowledge along with me because I have recently finished with my course. I know all the terms and specifications. And while working in different companies in the last few years, when I was doing this course, I came to know almost all the things are related from the very first starting itself. Like even if we are doing a very basic job or a very basic skill we possess, that is somewhere part of project management skills or management level base. So after I cleared that exam, I was like, for 5 minutes I could not believe yes, I did it. It was my first attempt because my mom and dad, like I was in continuous touch with them that yes, I'm pursuing this course. I am like finishing it up and I'm scheduling my exam. I didn't told anyone that I scheduled my exam for night. It was just that I cleared it, and the next morning I called my mom and dad that "Mama, Papa, ho gaya," and they knew what I was saying. They didn't even question me. They were like, "Very good, we are proud of you." And then there were certain like kind of networking and career opportunities as well. Just as I cleared it, I was being added up into different groups on Telegram. Like I'm part of North India chapter. So there were all these people contacting me, telling me about things, how things go around. So yeah, it was moreover like an adventurous and fun kind of thing, along with many learnings, many growings, many connections, many opportunities, which is till now like helping me out, and it certainly will in the future as well. And now I would also love to hear your experience, like how, because you gave it few years back. So
Definitely, man. I mean, that's so nice of you to break it down so well for the audience. Even before moving on to the experience part, right? Let's talk about the cost and the timeline of the entire preparation for the exam, and then I will start off with my experience of
sure.
the exam back then. So back then, I think I paid around 24,000 Indian rupees, something around that.
Yeah, it's around that. Basically, I got a student discount as well. So, like for taking up the membership, it was like the membership and the course and the North India chapter. Like combining all these three, I had to pay somewhere around 19,700 something, almost around 20,000. So that was the thing after implying the student discount and everything. And for the exam this time, it was for me. It costed me 14,700, something like that. So around if I say exam and preparation, it costed me around 35,000 on a book.
So basically, without discount, how much does it cost the entire exam?
Like they remove the student part, like if a normal guy is pursuing it, he doesn't have any student privilege. So it would like somewhere cost around 10 to 20% more.
Okay. Yeah, I think all the details are anyway on the website, and we'll leave a link
Everything is
in the
all
comment section. So my journey was basically pretty straightforward. When I was trying to, run through the notes and the PIMBOK, it was pretty overwhelming, to say the least. The portions are so vast, and especially with a very demanding job, you can't basically dedicate a lot of time, right? Sometimes Monday to Friday gets pretty hectic. So all I had was Saturdays and Sundays to sit and prepare, and maybe some days of the week during the nights. And I started off with Udemy.com. So the first step that I took was what I understood from the website, the PMI website, was you have to first have those PDUs, which is contact hours, right?
PDUs,
What's the full
professional
form of?
development units,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Professional development units.
So professional development units, that's what PDU stand for. And for CA, for even taking the CAPM, you need to first have like a bachelor's degree, a certain number of years of work experience, plus the 23 hours, the contact hours, the PDU. So
23
for
hours.
collecting those 23 PDUs, I took up this course by Joseph Phillips. I hope I'm mentioning the right tutor. I'll leave the link below. But it was pretty comprehensive. It was, I think, around 24 to 25 hours of very good content, and I used that entire Udemy course as my starting point, and it ended up being my only reference for preparation for the entire CAPM exam. So back then, I think in 2018, I it took approximately 2.5 months to go through all of that, because there was so many concepts. There were revision exams, and there were ETOs and all of those things to memorize. So it took quite some time for me. So after I had that out of the way, I think it costed me around 400 rupees or something on Udemy. I think Udemy has pretty reasonable courses.
Yeah, it's
now.
quite reasonable.
So that gave me the PDUs, and then I registered for the exam after that. And the exam back then was roughly, I think, 3.5 hours, and that's exactly what I can recall. In your case, how did you get your contact hours?
Like my contact hours were directly linked with the course that I took from the PMI itself. So completing that course itself was an official way of like an official statement that I have attained those 23 PDUs and I'm qualified for CAPM.
Okay. And so, what were your key learnings from the entire certification? While it's been quite some time for me since I took the test, I can't recall most of the topics, to be very honest. But in general, what I understood was, so my only motive was for even taking the test was, if I go and talk to someone from the technical background, if I talk to some project manager, I should be able to understand their language. That was the very simple motive with which I took the test. And more so, I think it helped me throughout my career, even with what I do right now as a product marketer, because even running marketing campaigns can be looked at from a project lens, right? From a project
Yeah.
management lens. Because when you do things at scale, there is a lot of stakeholder management that's involved. You have to coordinate with multiple teams, and mentally, it sort of gives me a structure onto how do I approach a very big problem and then break it down into multiple aspects. So what were your key learnings from the entire course and the test?
So, it was that like there were 10 modules for me, which I had to cover. And I used to like every day had them in front of my eyes. I memorized those 10 modules. So it's like on step by step in my mind. And even if I'll just stay, so the first was one integration. Second one was schedule. Third one was quality. Fourth one was communication. Fifth one was procurement. Sixth one was scope. Seventh one was cost. Eighth one was resources. Ninth one was risk, and tenth one was the most important, our stakeholders. So these 10 modules were the one which I had to cover, and they all had something unique in them. Because to integrate a project, we need to know how integration works, and to schedule the quality of the project, the communication ways, the procurement things, how to get on with the agreements, how to start with the charter, and enormous things. Like there are many things that I can't even speak up here, but I have in my mind. And the most fascinating one was cost management, because in cost management, like what a normal guy or what a normal employee would do, he would just sit up, he would just roughly add up the items, this, that cost, and he'll create a rough budget. But when a project manager, he will set up and decide a cost about that particular project or for that particular budget that we have been allotted. So there would be 10 formulas that we have to use. Even right now, if we have those basic values or those basic costing with us, we have to use out those particular formulas to define an exact value. So project management basically helped me in becoming a more over skilled person, and how to think easy ways into much easier ways and harder ways into the way we can solve it in a quick bit. So that was it for me. And like even after qualifying, when I gave the exam, so yeah, so basically like a cost management itself made us learn hundreds of different formulas, different theories, even though if it was theoretical, but somewhere or the other, even in older corporate life experience or the further I'll be going into, there would be that thing that I have to use them up so that I can define a particular value, not just a random value. So it's moreover helped me getting up a skilled person who could define things on a much better percentage rate, better success what. And to talk about project management itself, it is something that fascinated me. That's why I took up this course and I moved forward with it. And I'll surely be going up with more career opportunities. Like just after clearing exam, seeing this video would be taking up the test and would be giving the exam, clearing it. They would know how beneficial it is at the very point when even if you're starting your career or you are in mid of it. So it's quite great. And to talk about an test that has been upgraded right now, well, yes, the test that I gave was an older version also. On 26th or 27th of July, I received a mail from PMI that they have upgraded their CAPM exam guidelines as well as the procedure and as well as the curriculum it followed. So the 10 topics that I told you right now, after those 10 topics, there have been inclusions of business analysis and agile environment. These two topics have been recently added up in the new exam. So those who are preparing for CAPM, apart from those 10 modules or from those 10 topics, they have to get the knowledge of business analyst and a proper, like there would be a proper module for that, and along with that all the different topics that has been included. So this is the major update that has been added up to CAPM exam, and which will be followed on for few more years, I guess. So yeah, I definitely hope those who will be coming up with the CAPM exams now, they should be much more prepared because they will be covering different courses in a single course now, something like that.
Thanks for that quick overview, Manan. Since we are already out of time right now, I think what we'll do is we'll have like a part 2 and part 3 of this video if required. And if we receive enough interest from the audience, we'll also talk about some studying tips and some strategies that we applied while studying CAPM. I hope this video kind of adds like a good value add for people who are looking at this, and gives them a good introduction on what CAPM is and if they should even explore this kind of a certification. Because what I feel personally is whenever you're a graduate, it helps you with an additional skill set, and it just basically helps you stand out apart from the crowd. Because in today's world, I think there are multiple engineers graduating every year, right? Especially in India, we see lakhs of engineers.
Number is around 4 to 5 lakhs engineers every year.
No, man, I think that's pretty less. It's more than that. I think more than 15 lakh engineers graduate out of India every year, and it's very important for us to stand out of the crowd, right? So we have to show what we've done apart from engineering. So I think such certifications add significant value and make us more employable. And yeah, I really hope everyone some value out of this. Cool. I think this brings us to an end. Thanks for summarizing all the details of CAPM and the entire test taking process, Manan. I think we'll make part 2 and part 3 of this video. And, I think PMI is doing a very good job in terms of upskilling people in general. And I think this certification definitely helps us stand apart from the crowd. Thanks for your time. And if you have any closing statements, let me know. And then
To you as well. Thanks to you as well, because somewhere or other you have been also guiding mentor for the CA exam to me. So, and thanks for calling me out as well. And we'll definitely move on with something new or some new kind of video that will definitely help out people. So yeah, hoping on to some great conversations in future as well. Yeah.
Definitely, Manan. Thanks a lot for your time, and I'm looking forward to the upcoming videos. Thanks. That brings us to an end to this insightful conversation with Manan. Thanks a lot, and stay tuned for more tips on CAPM.